I'm Harry Rich, Chief Executive of the Royal Institute of British Architects, and we're here on Regent Street for the first day of the RIBA Regent Street Shop Windows project. It's a great opportunity for a whole range of architects to work with new retailers up and down Regent Street in really creative ways.
There are 13 installations this year punctuating Regent Street, from the very top near Oxford Circus at Karen Millen, right down to Hawes & Curtis and Hotel Cafe Royal near Piccadilly Circus. As part of the project, architects have to install their designs overnight. We had 13 stores open till 5 or 6 in the morning, the architects clambering all over the displays, creating beautiful installations. Hassel has worked with Karen Millen's in-house atelier to select printed fabrics that weave across the display.
As architects, what I think that we can bring to projects like this is our knowledge of structure and form, and being able to explore these materials and trust them and learn about them. We want the audience to be drawn in and immersed by this theatrical backdrop, and ultimately instilling a curiosity into the brand, the craft, and what the new autumn-winter collection is all about.
This year has been marked by amazing collaborations. EPR architects have worked with the Materials Council and Vertical Space to create a field of bamboo that has been scooped out for anthropology. Conran and Partners have done a display for Brooks Brothers and worked with ceramicist Billy Lloyd to create a series of ceramic collars in flight. And then we have Space Group architects who have worked with sound artists to create an immersive installation at Penhaligon's.
Space Group architects have been asked to represent 2 new scents that Penhaligon's have just launched. The female one has a very mossy aspect, whilst the male is very salty, and we tried to capture that in our moss green crystals. We got in touch with electronic musicians and we asked them to compose a soundtrack to go with both window bays. I like to call the installation a multi-sensory experience.
Architects have used the materials available to them to reimagine and recreate different installations. London Atelier's design for Crabtree and Evelyn incorporates panes of soap which have been choreographed to create backlit, luminous tiles. AMD Interior Architecture have used Levi's denim to create a flock of tiny jeans that travel through the store. And Nick Wood from How About Studio and Gillian Lambert have created an installation for Hawes & Curtis, taking apart the shirts themselves and using those to create a lenticular wall.
Our audience is always moving on this street, and so I think our design really tried to respond to that. 2 images which we have incorporated into the lenticular wall design are a classic black and white stripe of Hawes & Curtis, and also a large detail of their Prince of Wales check, which is quite a famous shirt design. We only had a small budget to work with, so we definitely had to be creative from the outset. I think having a resourceful design approach is useful across all scales. The idea of reappropriating materials and finding new uses for them creates an exciting way of people to experience spaces and give them unexpected experiences.
For this project, architects are challenged to create something at a completely different scale to what they're used to. For many, the devil is in the detail. For Longchamp's display, LDBC has created a chandelier-like sculpture that hangs in the window to be experienced up close and at a distance. Citizens Design Bureau has created an installation for Hotel Cafe Royal, which speaks to the past as well as the future. And Office S&M have done a display for Hamleys that expands the windows for children and adults alike. Part of the challenge of this project is competing for attention on one of the busiest streets in London. Michaelis Boyd Associates have created an installation that explodes the structure of molecules and atoms to create a playful installation that weaves both inside and outside of Kiehl's store. Shiro Studio has transformed Armani Exchange's window display by using a series of pleated mirrors. For L'Occitane, Copin-Dockrey architects have used reflective material and dichroic film to create a kaleidoscopic installation.
So our installation is to support the launch of a new product by L'Occitane. It's a 3-dimensional kaleidoscopic pattern that goes across the whole window. It's made up of 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional elements. The 2-dimensional elements are images of the immortelle flower from which the product's made, images of the Corsican sky where the flower is found from which the product's made, We were very interested in this idea of the reflections from outside, so we have to compete with these reflections, but we also quite like the idea that they would become part of our installation.
Regent Street is obviously one of the most exciting shopping streets in London. Beautiful architecture that's been maintained and developed really beautifully over the years. So to have quite dynamic and challenging shop window displays up and down that classical architecture, I think is something that the shoppers, the tourists will really enjoy over this next 3 weeks.